Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I don't know what the channel's name is going to be, but I've always wanted to make a YouTube channel, but I never really understood, why I wanted to make one or what the purpose of a channel would be. But I think, over time, I've learned that really life is going to teach you what you need to do next. You don't really have to go out and try to figure out what that is. Sometimes you just got to let things happen. So, this is going to be a little bit of like a video essay, but it just has RuneScape being played in the background. By the way, this is one of my favorite not mini games, but bosses in the game. It's called Winter Todd. It's pretty cool, and it fits right into what's going on right now in the state of Wisconsin and pretty much anywhere in the Midwest. It's cold as fuck outside, so this is perfect. This is basically us battling a winter boss, and that's how it feels outside right now. So anyway, enough of that. The title of this video is going to be called "Mistakes Were Made. What do you do now?" In my life, I've made a lot of different mistakes. As of recently, I made a big mistake in my life. And, I at some point, you really got to kind of look inward and understand why you made a mistake, what was like the cause and effect, and what are you going to do about it now? Because sometimes when you make a mistake, there is no bandage that you can put over it. There are only consequences that you have to just completely endure. And you know what? And that's okay. That's how life is. Sometimes you can't fix things. You have to realize that you're not going to be able to fix things every single time things get screwed up. Sometimes you just got to walk away. So, I have just a few things that I want to talk about. When you make a mistake in your life, you really have to take full accountability of your actions. And I mean, you really have to look inwards and understand that you have affected other people's lives and you shouldn't have, and you should have done things differently. It's going to take a lot of, courage to realize that you have to go kind of out of your way and make things right by just taking accountability. And guess what? Nobody has to forgive you for anything. It's like in the show Barry I'm watching. Hank told Barry, he's like, listen, Barry, forgiveness isn't given. You have to earn it. You have to earn forgiveness. So that's kind of one thing that I really think people need to realize is when you make mistakes, you just have to earn it by understanding and showing others and showing the people that you hurt or whatever you fucked up at work. You have to show that your boss that you understand and you take full accountability for it. And I think that's a really, really important thing. I really do. And obviously that's a very obvious thing, but I feel like not a lot of people do it. I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they don't think they're wrong. They constantly think that they can only be right, and whatever that person is feeling or whatever mistake I made, that's that entity's issue. So it's kind of something that I was really thinking about, over the past few months here. So that's a big thing. Another thing is never figure point. Kind of backpacking what I was saying before. Never figure point. Realize that if you feel a certain way about a mistake that you made, it doesn't come down to somebody else's problem or somebody else's issues or their viewpoint on how they feel. It doesn't come down to that. It comes down to you taking that full accountability and never figure pointing and being like, you did this to me, so now I'm going to, do this to you, and or I'm going to, make you feel bad for it, or I'm going to put this on you. You don't have to do that. So that's just kind of a mindset that I have adopted over the past few months here is you never finger point when you make a mistake. Then also when you do make a mistake, you have to realize that you can't beat yourself up. You can't beat yourself up for a mistake you made. Sure, you can take accountability. Sure, you can, feel bad in the moment. But after it's done, after the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. You just got to clean that fucking toothpaste up. Like they say, don't cry over spilt milk. You know, You got to make sure that you're focusing on positives and what you can do to be better in your life. Because I think a lot of people, they don't want to be better. They want to just let life kind of happen. And in reality, you just have to be completely positive and at least have control of being positive. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I didn't do it for a long time. I was very, in my marriage, I was very negative. Um, and you have to really look inward. I know I say that a lot, but you have to look inward and stay positive because a positive mindset over time will only garnish positive outcomes. It will, unless you die, and then you're fucked. But if you're alive and your heart is still beating, if you remain positive, only positive things can come from it. And I think that's just a beautiful thing that us humans, can really think of. Imagine being an animal. Imagine not understanding that, yeah, you didn't catch that fish. You're a bear. You didn't catch that salmon, but there's going to be another salmon that comes down. Catch him next time. Just stay positive. So that also thinking about it this way, you got to realize that you have self-worth and your life matters to you and it matters to others. And you got to realize that people don't actually know who you are as a person. What really happens is they know the idea of you. They know what they've been told by others, what they see on social media, what they think of when they first meet you, first impressions, but they don't really know you. And first impressions are important. But I think it's always good to really realize that, hey, I know exactly who I am. I know how I was raised. I know my skill sets. I know what I can bring to the table in life. And I think that's really important, is realizing that you have worth in this world. You just have to show others and show yourself what that worth is. So have a real constructive way of looking at your own existence and understanding that you matter no matter what. And if you feel like you don't matter, then what are you going to do to make yourself matter to yourself and the ones that you love too, because they matter to you too. Another thing too about making a mistake in your life is realizing that not everyone's out to get you. I think it's a funny little, something that's happened in my life. Just a little anecdote is, hold on, I'm pulling some of these. Oh, okay. Oh boy. All right, that was a good pull. Sorry, got a little distracted here. ADHD brain. Yeah, realizing that not everyone's out to get you. Not everyone. It's that theory when you're high and you're like at the mall or at your parents' house or whatever. If you've smoked weed before, you understand what I'm saying. Not everyone in the room's actually looking at you, but you think in your head after you make a mistake that that's the case, that everyone's out to get you, everyone's out to chastise you for that mistake that you made, and that's just not remotely true. And I feel like a lot of people, let me pick up this shit. Thanks, dude. Fucking free bank. I think a lot of people really end up having that mindset. And over time, I really thought that. I mean, when I made my mistake in my marriage, I was terrified to go outside. I was terrified to go out and do things. I was terrified to, be looked at as some monster when, going back to that self-worth thing, I know I'm not. So, it really comes down to realizing that not everyone's out to get you. Sure, some people are out to get you. That can happen. People can be out to get you, but you have to realize that not everyone is. Not everyone is. I'd say probably 98% of the people in your life after you make a mistake are not out to get you. So I'm sorry that this could be a little bit rambly, but I'm trying to play a game also. I'm a little bit tired. Mondays are a little longer at the dealership. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you. And just one last point to kind of tie this up. I think it's really important to take charge in your life. And what I mean by that is you got to make like good changes in your life. You got to really realize when you make a decision, You wake up every day, you make a decision. You make a decision to brush your teeth, you make a decision to eat breakfast, you make a decision to drive to work, go to school, whatever it is in your life. You make a decision every single day to do that. So you have to start really understanding that I need to think about what this is going to do to impact my life. What is this going to do to my life when I make this decision? And it can be the smallest little things, putting on white socks instead of black, you know, putting on cologne and deodorant and making an, an impact on, on your self image and your self worth, kind of going back to that. So I think really what you have to do too after making a mistake is you have to start thinking about what you do and how that impacts other people. Um, one of my ex's cousins, Karen, if you know who that is, I don't really want to name drop, but she knows who she is. Like I said, I was very negative for a point in my life, and I think something she said stuck with me. She says, "Kane, you don't realize what your words do and what they mean and how they impact people." And when she said that to me, I brushed it off. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to say what's on my mind. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks or how they feel because this is my life. It's my decisions. Like, fuck off. And looking back at it now, she was completely right. You don't know what how your actions affect people. I think they affect people way more than you think. So I think you have to make a very dedicated decision to not hurt people on purpose and or think about what you're going to do before you do it. Have some like, self-control, have some, you know, have some love for people that in your life. And it doesn't even have to be somebody that you actually love, but just have some love for their life. Just a little bit, just an inkling, a little bit of respect, but just have a little bit more love for the people around you, even if it's somebody at a cash register, or they're serving you at a table. Give out a little bit more love, and realize that you wouldn't say something extremely hurtful to your mom. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't say that to people that you really care about. So don't do that to strangers and or acquaintances or just friends. You really got to realize what you're saying and how they affect other people, because I think that's going to give you a more positive outlook, and people will think of you more positively as well. So I know that was a little ranty, but like I said, I'm a little bit tired, so I sometimes can't put words together very well. But also, this is my first ever video, and I'm also doing Winter Tot while doing it too. So it's a very AFK game, so this should not be any sort of challenge for me, but currently it is. So if you made it all the way through the video, thank you for listening. And I'll be back. I'll definitely be back. This was fun. You guys take care. Peace.